early, 5.
Oh my God.
I know, it's all
I'm
right.
sorry for anybody who's up that early.
Well, actually, it always reminds me, well, not always, but there are mornings when I'm driving to work, and I remember when I was really little and we used to go on vacation.
Oh yeah.
And we would get, like, in the middle of the night, we'd bring
Yeah.
pillows and blankets and get in the back seat and drive to wherever we were going.
Yeah.
So, I try to, like, have that little, like, oh, it's an adventure instead of, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm awake.
Well, the thing I like about mornings, especially because of LA traffic, is if you're on the road like at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
you can actually get from point A to B, and you're actually driving. You're going somewhere. Because once like 6:30 hits, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
You bumper to bumper.
You're just sitting there.
You're just sitting there.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's like on Long Island.
Yeah.
Have you been on Long Island a day or two?
Last time when we came to this theater, we were here for a week.
So you had a little chance to go see the bay and the ocean and it's pretty spectacular.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, a little different than LA.
But absolutely it's gorgeous. I love East Coast. I think East Coast is beautiful. A little humid.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I know.
My
It's a
skin
wet
likes
heat.
it. My skin actually likes humidity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually enjoy humidity.
Now tell me a little bit about your part in the show.
This show.
Yes, this show. And what you're liking the most. Like, do you have a favorite number?
Good question. Well, my part in the show, I'm dancing.
I knew
I'm
that.
a dancer. So that's the one. I also kind of co-host the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sort of, routing the crowd a little bit. I'm basically like the warmer.
Okay.
Like a talk show warmer. How
Are you comfortable doing that?
Yes.
Okay,
I
good.
am. I'm totally comfortable.
Were you always? Or was it something you had to get used to?
No, I was not always comfortable with that.
So the first couple of times it was like humming.
The first couple of times I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a dancer. I'm not used to speaking to the audience with my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm used to just dancing. That's my way of communicating. That's how I speak.
Yeah.
But, taking a few acting classes, that helped.
Good.
So now I'm totally comfortable with that, and I enjoy it actually, because every single time you're in a different place, even in the same theater, each day, each performance is different, because you have different people, different energies, different vibes, as we like to say.
Isn't that interesting? Because
Yeah.
I know, we talk to a lot of actors that are doing Gateway Productions, and a lot of them have noted that even though you might be doing exactly the same thing every night, it's always different because of the people you're doing it for and their reactions and their energy.
And sometimes, because it's live and we kind of just can say whatever heck we want, it's a matinee and you have a bunch of like 8, 9, 10, 12-year-olds. There's certain things you're not going to say.
Right, yeah.
But then Saturday night, it's a different crowd.
All those kids are sleeping.
That's right. So it's going to be a very different show. My favorite part probably would be, my favorite number, it's a tough one. It would be selfish of me to say the one I'm performing, and it's
That's
not.
Okay.
And it's
well,
not.
what's the favorite number that you're performing?
The favorite one that I'm performing, it would probably be today, or this run around, a new number we just added that Gina Glockson is singing, one of my favorite songs that is known because Amy Winehouse sang it. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, and me and Dimitri are dancing to it.
Now we go.
So because she's singing, it gives it a whole different layer of,
Is that, how different is it to be dancing to someone singing than to be dancing just to music?
track?
Yeah.
Very different. It's
Do you try to match up your movements to the lyrics?
Yes, you do. Definitely move the moves you want the moves to be kind of similar, the mood to the singer. And then because it's, again, going back to, human factor, the track is always the same to recording. A live performer is not.
Right.
Even the most consistent ones will still have, they play, they want to keep it interesting,
sure.
they want to
They can't just
fun.
really improv, though.
Yeah, no.
Because then you're just standing there going, wait a minute.
Yeah, so they stick to the sort of the idea, but there's still a little variations, a little light and shade, which is great, because then as a dancer it inspires you for not necessarily maybe change a move, but maybe slow down in a certain area or give an extra little flair or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's fun for me.
Wow.
Because when it's, too predictable.
Yeah, there's got to be a little creativity.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when you first started taking dancing lessons?
6 years old.
6. And was it something you wanted, or did your parents suggest it?
My mom and my dad were professional ballroom dancers.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry,
they
I
had,
missed that.
Yeah, it's okay. They had their own dance studio, and
oh my God.
Yeah, back in Russia. So I kind of just was around it a lot. I was the girl backstage looking at my parents while they were
So really,
performing.
there was no way you were going to not dance.
Kinda. Yeah.
Did you ever see White Nights, or have you seen it a million
I
times?
haven't seen White Nights. Funny enough.
With Mikhail Brezhnikov
I
and
know.
Gregory
I
Hines.
should see it, and I've never seen it.
It's spectacular.
Right.
But there is a scene where Gregory Hines is alone in a rehearsal hall in Russia, and he does this tap dance that takes up the entire room, and it is like if you never danced before, you would want to dance after seeing that. Like there's something, I think that growing up watching your parents, like I'm sure it must have like lit something in you.
Well, it just was more of a natural, normal thing because I was around it, so it wasn't like weird, because I think especially in America for a lot of kids, especially boys, dancing is still an odd thing. Like you go play soccer, or you
Right.
play softball or something like that. In Russia, going to dancing is fine. It's another sport, another activity. We actually had a ballroom lesson once a week in our first grade school. It was a mandatory.
Wow, I would have loved that.
That was
Just an
a lot of fun.
opportunity to
Kind of
dance
like a
with boys.
cotillion type of thing, So some schools here have cotillions, which I think is
We
great.
used to do square dancing in gym class,
geez,
which was,
square dance.
also like it was the one time I didn't have to dress in a, gym uniform, so I kind of
Well,
liked
it's
it.
fun, isn't it? So
Anything is, any kind of movement is
Yeah.
really interesting, and when it's a choreographed movement where you know what to
and
do.
the music's nice,
Oh yeah, then it all of a sudden goes to, it elevates to another level.
which we go back to the show because it's about music and beautiful voices and dancing and expression, beautiful bodies, a positive energy, and it all intertwined together makes good entertainment.
What about the costumes?
Oh my gosh. We have sparkles for days.
I can't wait.
Yes, the costumes are a thing of their own. Each piece is very unique. Each piece was handmade, hand sparkled, everything. And those costumes are definitely not cheap.
Wow, that's great. How many costume changes do you have?
I don't have that many. I only have 4. But our casts have 10, 15, depending on on how many numbers they're in.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. And what are you particularly looking forward to when it's over? I mean, do you feel like when it's done, do you work towards it being over, or you're just like always in that moment?
Depending on the night, like I said, some nights drag.
Yeah.
And there's some nights where you just feel like you blink and it's gone. Today's going to be interesting for me because I'm dancing a number that I just learned today.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's going to keep me on the edge of my toes.
How do you learn a number in a day?
You just do. You watch.
Is it
I
like
watched it on the video
Yeah.
like 20 times.
Okay.
And then I came here and I did it with my partner like 20 times, and I'm like, okay, I think I got it.
Do you think it's like a developed muscle?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like learning lines.
Learning lines, or looking at mathematical formulas and trying to kind of figure that out. It's just your brain starts to recognize patterns.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Wow.
because movement is movement,
Yeah, but the order and anyway, that's why you're here and I'm not.
Hey,
That's
you start
spectacular.
dancing when you're 6, you'll be here.
And let me
So
ask
good.
you this: how old were you before you could spell your last name?
How was that? Well, I probably had to spell it by the end of the first grade.
Was it hard?
No.
Can you? Will you
just
spell
long.
it now?
Trebunskaya.
And it's just as it sounds,
Exactly, Trebunskaya.
which is good. 'Cause
Thank you.
Sometimes some of the European, like spelling like Polish, where there are so many
don't
different.
go into spelling.
But-
Look, English has the worst spelling. I mean, cardinal, really? Cardinal?
Cardinal or cardinal. Yeah.
Like, who are you supposed to... That doesn't
Yeah.
make any
How
sense.
long did it take you to learn English?
A couple years.
Yeah. Was it difficult? Because I've heard it's a very difficult language.
No, it's
I didn't
not.
have a problem with it.
No, English is not a difficult language. It's all about spelling and
Yes,
vocabulary.
there, and there.
And exactly. And grammar is pretty simple.
Yeah.
So it's not that difficult.
Right. Do you
Especially if you live in the environment. Because I moved to US when I was 17 and I was just...
So it's submersion. You're just like there and yeah.
Yeah. And luckily for me, a lot of my dance teachers were still Russian. So it was like a slow transition.
Have you been back to Russia?
Many times, yes, of course. My dad still lives there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is it different than when you were younger?
Very different.
Yeah.
And it's like different every 5 years. It's very different. It's like you're going back to a total different country yet again.
Wow.
Let's not go into politics.
No.
Let's not talk about that. It's still early in the morning.
Yes, for some of us. For me, it's really late at night. But anyway, I know you have other people to talk to, but break a leg.
Thank you.
Not literally.
I gotcha. I love when people say that.
And that should be really spectacular. I've heard nothing but wonderful stuff
Thank
about
you. Well, you should come and check it out.
Absolutely.
And I'll send one of our gorgeous Dimitri Chaplin, one of my partners for today.
Okay.
Very talented, handsome Russian young man.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Nice
really.
to meet you.